Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Chanel is at it again. They are not telling us just yet who the new artistic director of their fashion department is going to be, but they're letting us, clients, and whatever you want to call us, simmer and wait. Because they think they're all that. They think they're the most important fashion company in the world, and they think that, they can take their time, they can make people speculate. But the thing is, I'm like, who cares if they're making us wait? Because, like, we're losing interest, honey, at the speed of light. With every passing day, I'm less and less interested in their fashion department. Less and less interested? No, let's put it in a different perspective. Can you go in minus of interest? That's where we're at, Chanel. Like, nobody cares anymore. But my problem is you're making these poor designers wait. You're making them simmer. You're making them go crazy. You're making them feel like, should they renew their contract with the brands that they're already working with? Or should they not renew the contract with the brands they're already working with? You are making some of these designers suffer. And that's the part that I'm kind of interested in. Because let's be perfectly honest here. How many of those are salvageable? How many of their morals are salvageable? How many of their talents are salvageable? Who cares? We're living in the end of times. It's the end of luxury. It's the end of everything. And you want to make us believe like you're making the decision and it's going to take you many months, but you're going to tell us mid-December who the artistic director is. And now you're playing this kind of musical chairs with us and with them. And I believe partially also to see how the reactions are of the public. It's almost as if Chanel themselves were leaking these names because they leak the names in a very suspicious rhythm. Wouldn't you agree? Every couple of weeks, one name is dropped. And it feels like the Baconator is sitting there waiting to see the reactions of all of us Oompa Loompas, to see, oh, do the Oompa Loompas like this person at Chanel or not? And then they move to the next potential candidate, and then they wait for us to react to that as well. Subscribe to my channel. Let's get to 100,000 subbies. We are so close. Thumb up this video, and let's talk about the latest leaked intel. Who will be the next artistic director at Chanel and fashion? And the name that is in everyone's mouth, not mine, but since everybody's talking, might as well chime in and give you my 5 cents worth of this crappy bacon. So now everybody's, the name that's in everybody's mouths and whatever other orifices they got, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's a legend, just my opinion. And you see, we are in the Middle Ages here, okay? Bougie at times, but don't you worry, I'm also in the gutter, okay? I'm also in the dungeons. You just check out my live streams, you'll know. So word in town and in the main square of the village here is that Matthieu Blazy is going to be the next artistic director of Chanel. It is so interesting to me to see all of those little hysterical fashion channels out there wanting to bring this intel out as quick as possible. Like, they don't even have time to wash their face, put on proper makeup. Honey, they're still in pajamas. They don't even have time to comb their hair. But they've already turned on the camera and are filming to just read literally an article written by WWD magazine or Miss Tweed, you know? And also questionable, how did they get their intel? Who's leaking all of this? Come on, wake up and smell the coffee, people. But anyway, so there they are reporting to you because they have to be the first. And then you have the fashion bunker. Now, since we have been catapulted back in time, it takes us a little bit more time. We are in the Middle Ages. So for us to echo into the future to you, it takes a moment. But we're here now. So first, let me tell you, Oompa Loompas out there making the videos before you even manage to take your morning dump, before you film a video, learn to pronounce the name. His surname is not Blazy. His surname is not Blazy. For the love of fashion. Okay? So take your morning dump, focus, drink your coffee if you need to, or a tea, brush your teeth, wash your mug, comb your hair. Seriously, you're talking about Chanel here after all. You understand. And then turn on your then turn on your camera and film your video. If I can get out of the medieval dungeon, sneak my way back into my throne room when the new inhabitants that have pushed me out of here are out hunting, then so can you. Yeah? Good. So there's that. Now, as for Blazy, he is currently the artistic director at Bottega Veneta, another one of those brand names you should learn to pronounce before you make your videos. Okay, it's not Bodega Winita. It's not Bodega Veneta or Veneta. It's Bottega Veneta. Now, here's the thing. The news is reporting that, Bottega Veneta is one of those rare brands that are doing quite well, despite all of the other ones falling from grace. But here's the thing. They also claim that Dior is doing well, sales-wise. I have been bored to unalivement of Maria Grazia Chiuri's repetitious collections for Dior every season. They sell. Why? Because boring people have money. And they're the ones buying. So ask yourself, why does Bottega Veneta have success currently? Groundbreaking designs? Innovation? Yeah? No. Sellable stuff. So, okay, so you think that he would be the right fit for Chanel? Now, so I was thinking to myself, why would Chanel want him? And then I thought, oh, Lina Nair. Oh, Bruno Pavlovsky. I mean, the two of them, really, two peas in a pod, honey. They found each other. So, I mean, yeah, if somebody were to choose the next artistic director at Chanel, and if that someone were to be the CEO of Chanel, Lina Nair, ex-Unilever soap manufacturer, well, they also make Vaseline. You know what that means. I could see how she could think that he's a good fit for Chanel because she's thinking money. Everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only. Ratchet and inferior entertainment, granted, but entertainment nevertheless. Listen, you're welcome, okay? You're going to get at least 4 years of this, so I'm the best you're going to get at this point. So enjoy and say thank you, So seeing it from her perspective, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. He has this sort of, I want to say, curriculum vitae or CV that, makes him interesting for a baconator. Here's the thing. Because they say here from 2016 to 2019, well, first they say he was born in Paris. So Blazy, born in Paris, 1984, is a graduate of La Chambre in Bruxelles, and he started his fashion career as a men's designer for Raf Simons. So here we start the name dropping. From 2016 to 2019, Blazy worked at Calvin Klein as part of the team Raf Simons brought to New York. We know how that went. Terribly. Before Calvin Klein, Blazy, who is a French and Belgian national, worked in the studio of Céline under then creative director Phoebe Philo, becoming senior designer in 2014, and for 4 years at Maison Margiela, ultimately responsible for its couture line, dubbed artisanal. Chanel Fashion has been without a creative leader since Virginia Viard, as some people call her, left June 5th, 2024. So he has a pedigree of sorts, right? He has a pedigree. But Is that enough to make us interested in Chanel again? No, it's not enough to make me interested in Chanel again. I still think best solution would be to do something groundbreaking, unexpected, something to break the status quo, something to break the snoring of the fashion world. I really think they should take John Galliano. John Galliano. Hedi Slimane, yeah, he left Celine. Okay, people thinking, oh, it must be him. But Hedi, he would just do Hedi for Chanel. It wouldn't be a new vision. It wouldn't be a new path for Chanel. It would just be a Hedi version of Lagerfeld at Chanel. That's what Hedi Slimane would do at Chanel. He wouldn't do something new. Jeremy Jeremy Scott would do whimsical things. He would do pop. He would bring back the 90s Chanel stuff, which we all love. But let's be perfectly honest here. We all love it because it is vintage. We all love the 90s Chanel, the Barbie Chanel stuff because it's from the 90s, because it's hard to find, because it costs a lot of money, because it's like so rare and precious and colorful. But if we were to see that colorful stuff redone today, to nausea, from season to season to season, it would lose its luster. It would, trust you me. So while I believe Jeremy would be a really fun and whimsical fit for a couple of seasons, I would give him a guest designership moment, you know what I mean? Long term, I don't see it. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening with him and Chanel. The Moose, please. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. That's just ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, it's like hiring H&M to do haute couture. Like, come on. And I know that H&M started doing haute couture for do you remember what was it, 6-7 years ago? They did a couple of haute couture pieces for red carpet events, the Oscars and shit like that. Terrible. It was so bad. But no. So no, the Moose would be asking H&M to do haute couture. Who else is there? Haider Ackerman, let him do his bougie. What was he appointed of doing? Let him do his bougie tech wear for snow. For rich people going to St. Moritz to snow in the winter. Let him do that. We'll go. Oh, Marc Jacobs, right. No, I don't see Marc Jacobs at Chanel. I think Marc Jacobs could do classic Chanel stuff, but I don't see him. I think Marc Jacobs would do what he did at Louis Vuitton. Also, would Carl and Marc, Karl Lagerfeld at a certain point started copying Marc Jacobs a little bit, because Marc brought all the innovation to Louis and he started the collaborations with artists and fashion, and I think Karl was quite impressed by that because Karl started doing the same. Karl started inviting artists to do capsule collaborations on the Métier d'Art collections. Look at the Egypt Métier d'Art, it's called Paris, New York, but we call it the Egyptian collection. The last Métier d'Art that Karl Lagerfeld ever did for Chanel, 2019, before he passed away. All of the graffitis were done by an artist that he collaborated with, And that was all Marc's influence. That's a whole era of fashion that is now gone. So to bring Marc to Chanel would be kind of full circle because I believe that Karl was copying Marc's vision of how to run a fashion brand at a certain point in time. But now if Marc were to come to Chanel, he would be kind of running after Karl's vision of running after Marc's vision of doing fashion and collaborations. Very bizarre. It's a very bizarre place to be and not really bringing in the true fresh air that is needed in a brand like Chanel. It's Galliano at this point. But, the Democrats didn't want Bernie Sanders. Look at them now. So Chanel not wanting Galliano is kind of a similar situation. They're not going to take Galliano. I don't see that happening because he's too risky for them. He's too risky for their image, and so they're going to end up. They're going to end up with a Hillary. They're going to end up with a Hillary. And yeah, and we all know how that went. So that's there you go. So Chanel is like, so that's what's going to happen. Because I have a sneaky suspicion that after all is said and done, Miss Baconator at Chanel is starting to smell the coffee. And I think she's realizing that she's going to be used as a scapegoat when this whole system collapses. And she don't want to be the one that the men point their fingers at, saying, it was all your fault. You wanted all these changes at Chanel, and look at us now. We can't even sell toilet paper no more. And so she is probably playing, in my opinion, allegedly, like a double. She's on two tracks at the same time. On one end, I think she wants to work with the other higher ups at Chanel, but she also doesn't want them to know that her adjacent plan would be contingency plan in case whoever they select next doesn't work well and the collections don't sell well, so that she is not blamed for it. It's a difficult position to be in because it's super easy to blame her, right? Because she is the CEO. So she wants to pick someone who's going to be like a sure sell. But the sure sell doesn't guarantee prosperity for the brand, good image for the brand, because the brand already, in my humble opinion, has tarnished their image in fashion. It's not working anymore, at least for me. So they got to be very clever about this, and they got to put their egos aside, all of the CEOs, and they got to put all of their, money hunger aside, and they have to think about creatively and artistically, and when it comes to the heritage of the brand, what is the best candidate for that, not for the money. You got to put money second, because don't forget, when Carl was directing Chanel, all of these, intels came out later after he passed away, but they were saying like his collections were really expensive. His shows were really expensive, and they kept just pumping money, fueling money into the presentation of the shows and the huge pompous setups and settings. And it's not like the fashion was that profitable back then. Virginie made it more profitable because the budgeting was more tight and the clothing was more wearable. So now what are you going to do? Now you want to play with the Virginie lower budgeting, but you want higher sales numbers while you're upping your prices and lowering your quality, while trying to still be interesting to Gen Z, which doesn't care about this stuff, especially if you're charging them $10,000+ a bag that is not even handmade. How do you think you're going to get out of that rut, Miss Lena Nair? You got you got yourself in one heck of a pickle, Missy. And I don't see you coming out of it that easy. But maybe you have that infamous contingency plan. There you go. You see, this is how we talk about Matthieu Blazy potentially coming as artistic director to Chanel. That's how you do it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts and prayers down below. Until next time, never forget to never give up on love, y'all. Subscribe, thumb up the video. Let's get to 100K. Mwah.